Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ITS148. And let me share my screen real quick. And let's see, 148. And I think we are, I haven't uploaded a recording for a while because they haven't turned out very good. So I've just, a lot of this stuff in here is going to be taken care of with the fourth assignment. And I've, don't pay any attention to the due dates here. And I did add, and I'm going to have one more assignment, but I had earlier I was going to have two more assignments, but it's getting backed up. And I'm doing all brand new stuff. So, I want it to all work before I turn it over to you. So that's kind of what's taking a delay here. Also, for you folks in 148, it looks like 228 might run next semester. And so some of the stuff I was gonna, because 228 hasn't ran for so long, I wasn't gonna, I started moving some stuff from 228 to 148, but if 228 is gonna run, then that's why I took out the assignment 6. And I'm gonna make 228 a lot more fun. We're gonna do a lot more interesting things, learn some other languages and see what you've learned in 128 and 148 transfers over easily to other things. But anyway, so the important things I guess we have to cover are inheritance. Let's see what the last video was. Um, 12. Okay, so 13, there's not too much on 13. I'm gonna let you just read through those. There aren't any, there's just participation. There's no labs or anything, but there is in 14. So I'm just gonna start to do some of the labs, the stuff that you guys are actually gonna be graded on. So let's go to 14 and inheritance. Let's see, covered classes and modules. Let me just quickly, I'll briefly review what this is all about. And basically what it is you have classes, and by classes we mean templates that represent something, and it stores data, it stores attributes, and so you could have a person, and and the person might be able to do something, and then you'd represent that with a method, and the person has certain attributes like height and weight maybe. And those would be like just variables stored within the class. Now, the idea with derived classes and inheritance is that you can take a class and then create another class that's based on that first class. And the idea here is that, you might create a class called sandwich, and then you might have different kinds of sandwiches. And so you'd start with a sandwich class, which may be, it's got a type of bread. A sandwich has got a piece of bread and some stuff in it, and another piece of bread. So there's some general attributes about a sandwich, but then after that, there's going to be certain things like with a roast beef sandwich, you might have certain condiments that you put on it, and for another kind of sandwich, egg salad sandwich, you might have different condiments and so on. So in this example here, a derived class example, class produce is derived from a class called items. So we start out with a class called items, and it does some stuff. It's got a name, it's got a quantity, and it's got a method here, so you can set a new name, or you can set a quantity, and you can call this display thing, and it's going to display out what its two attributes are. After that, now you can create another class called produce, which is based on item. See, that's item. And produce is going to inherit all of the stuff from item. But then you can add new stuff. So for produce, you would want to have all the stuff that's in item, but then also you might want to have an expiration date. And if you're going to have an expiration date, you might want to set it and to get it, and so on. So that's the idea behind inheritance and derived classes. And so, you carry along the constructor and you have a new constructor. So here, the produce item, it's got a constructor, and the first thing it does is it executes the constructor for the item class, because it's got to get one of those, and then it adds the expiration date. So this just go through this exercise, make sure you understand what the concept that we just went over, and when you do, you get the points up here. And this shows another this is another participation activity. Let's see how these things work, and how you access the principle of inheritance and so on, and how you access the attributes. And this is what a UML, or this is what the a UML in UML notation, and you might want to look this up. I don't use this, but you could get a job at a place where there's other software engineers, and you're not the only software engineer or programmer, and you might want to document your stuff, or you may get a problem to solve that's expressed in this language. So this is a nice example of this concept of inheritance and classes. And so we start out with an item, and a piece of some produce is an item, but also a book is an item. And then so you might define a class here named produce based on item, and then you can create classes from that too. There's a fruit type, and there's a dairy type, and there's also an animal-based type, and so on. And for books, there's textbooks and audiobooks and so on. And so this kind of this expresses, or this shows what the class, what sort of methods and so on get added to it as you define new classes based on other classes. Okay, so let's do one of these. Let's see, why don't we do one of these? I'll do just one of these challenge activities, and then I'd like to actually jump to some of the labs here. But let's just do one of these. So we have let's start it up. We have a class called vehicle. We have a class called car that's based on vehicle. And so the first thing we do is we create an instance of a car called my car. And we're going to set the speed of my car equal to 50. So we're going to call this method. It's a method that it inherited from its base class. And so the first thing we do is we set the speed, and it sets the speed, this internal variable called speed, equal to what came in, that. And then we're going to print the car speed, and that here we're using this method. And so we're going to print speed colon space, and then we're going to call this print speed method, which is this method, and it just prints it out. It prints it out, and then it does a return. This is going to, it's got no end here, so it's going to print out the return after that. Yeah, right. Okay. Space. And the speed would be 50. All right, very good. All right, you can do these. And if you have any questions, let me know. All right, let's try a lab here. All right, I'm gonna make sure I don't lead you astray, and I'm gonna open up another. This is my student version here, a sort of student version. All right, so in this problem, the base class is called pet, and it's got name and age. And we're going to create a derived class called dog, which inherits the attributes of the base class. In other words, dog is also going to have a name and an age. But then the dog class is also going to have this this additional attribute called breed. And so we're doing 14.7. 14.7. All right, so what I'm going to do here, now we have to write this program, so it's gonna wait a second, what is generic text? If the input is Dobby 2 creature 3 German Schnauzer, what is it supposed to do? Let's see what it's supposed to do. Oh, first we read a pet name, then we read a pet age, then we read a dog name, then we read a dog age, and then we read a dog breed. Okay, so that's what all this is here. So and they give you that. Okay, great. They give you the input, and then what it's going to do is it's going to print this out, and it's got what tells us what to do. All right, now I'm going to do something that I started in 128, and I'm going to do it here too. So, and I'm going to do my code in a thing called Replit, in a place called Replit, and then what Replit does is it makes the code public, and that way, right now, or when you're watching the video, you don't have to like turn it on and off, turn it off, and try to watch and try to type along. You can just go look at the code, after the video is done. And you can execute the code too. Okay, so now I'm not going to do this with everyone, but I'm going to do it for a lot of them. And I might start labs in Replit, and then you can take it and finish it. All right, so I have an account called Replit, and now you actually don't even have to create an account, but it's nice to create an account. So what I do is I go over to Teams here, and then I've got this place called ITS148, and this is ITS148, and I haven't created any REPLs yet. Oh, maybe I did, but and so I'm going to create a new REPL, and I'm going to now look at all the different languages that we can create these things in. And by the way, in 228, we're gonna go in here and we're going to try out other languages. Okay. We're going to write something in a language that we know simple, and then we're going to go over and we're going to write it in another language, and the only thing that's going to be new is like the syntax of the language and the construct of the if else statements and so on like that. So I'm going to do a Python one, and I'm going to name my Replit. I'm going to name it this. I'll include that too. Copy. Paste. Okay, and it's public. It's public because I'm not paying for this, and so everything is public. So I'm going to create this REPL here. They call it that. And this is a nice little development environment because it's got some stuff over here. It's got a debugger, which is really cool. And then here's where you write your code right here. And then this is, you can actually execute it over here. Okay. And so I'm going to paste in, I'm going to paste in this, copy, and I'm going to paste it in here, paste. So back to Control V, Control V. All right, there it is. Now is a good time for me to show you this. You can go to this URL right here, https://replit.com/@ capital ITS148 slash. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to open up a browser that's not logged into anything. Let's see, where's my Opera? Here's my Opera. Probably never even heard of Opera, but it's a pretty good browser. And so I'm going to paste that URL right there, and I'm going to hit enter. I'm just showing you that you can do this, and this is what you see when you log in to this. And when we go to that URL, anybody in the world sees this, and you don't have to sign up, you don't have to log in, but what you can do is go click on here, and then you should be able to make it smaller. You can run it. Probably not going to run. It might run, but then you can. Oh, it's waiting for some input. Or you can show the files, and when you click on main.py, there you go. Here it is. See, this is what I just put in there, as you can see. So and this will be there, you know, I don't know, for a long time. On into next semester. I might put the semester. I might make a new one for have one for each semester and put something in there to keep them separate. All right. So anyway, so that's okay. You don't need to. I don't need to look at this. I'm the author, so I'm gonna type in here. Okay. So so what we're supposed to do is I'm also gonna do this. I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna copy all of this. Copy. And I'm going to make it a comment at the top. Okay. I'm going to press enter a couple times. I'm going to do quote, 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 enter, oops, paste, quote, there we go. And so this on top is a, there. So this is kind of what we're supposed to do up here. For those of you who may be watching this who aren't taking my class and you don't have access to the textbook, this is the description of the problem. Okay, so we're supposed to make it so this works. Okay, so you know, I tell you what, the first thing I'm going to do. Okay, so here this thing starts out. It creates a new instance of a pet called my pet, and it creates a new instance of a dog called my dog. And then the first thing it asks is a pet name and a pet age. That would be for my pet. Oh, so that reads in a pet name and it reads in a pet age. Okay. And then we're supposed to create a generic pet using that, and then we have to call print info. Where's print info? Oh, here it is. So we are just printing. All right. Okay. So that's what we got to do. Okay. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I don't like just having these input statements out there, and it's just the thing's just waiting for you to do something, and the user doesn't know what to do. So I'm going to say I'm going to put this in here, and you know, you wouldn't have this in here. These input strings, you wouldn't have them in there for what you paste in here, because otherwise you'll get to errors. You know, they recognize characters in the line that aren't supposed to be there. But for us here, I'm going to say enter pet name, right? Yeah. Okay. Enter pet name. And I'm going to have that be there, and I'm going to say enter pet age. Now, you know, just as an aside, in my 128 class, I would separate out this inputting and then the integer function operating on what the input is, because it's confusing. You have this int function, and inside there you got an input, and what does that mean? But for 148, you're used to this. This is going to be enter dog name. And this is going to be enter dog age. And this is going to be enter dog breed. Not consistent there. Okay, and then I'm going to say create a generic pet using pet name. Oh, I have to use pet name because okay, well, it's already been created. Okay, so this has already been created, so that's why it's confusing. Okay, so we just have to set my pet name equal to pet name. See, we're gonna for my pet is just a pet, it's not a dog. The only attributes are name and age, so we're gonna set those two attributes. And the way we can set those two attributes is we can just set them directly. We don't have little methods that set them for us. So just that, and then we're gonna set the age. My pet dot age, what's the matter with my typing, is equal to this thing that we read in. And then we're going to do, for my dog name, for the dog, then we got to print info. Okay, so now I got to print it. What am I printing? I'm printing what I'm going to print. Oh, no, I got to do it. So it's my pet, right? It's my, yeah, my pet dot print info that. I got to do this. Since I'm calling a method. All right. So now we can run this. Let's run it. Oh, I see. That does that. So run this. And working. Oh, I have to start it up. Run. Okay, enter pet name. And I'm going to call him Joe. Pet age, 5. Dog name, Boxer. Dog age, 7. Dog breed, I don't know. Cool. I don't know dogs. All right, so then it prints out pet information, Joe, and that's all it did because that's all I wrote. Okay, so you're going to have to do, you can do that one in there, and I'm just going to do this one here. It has to be set first. So, okay, dog breed is going to be set up here. So I'll just set it up here. My dog breed equals dog breed. And see, that's what's read in here. And then I'm going to print it out here. So what was that? Is there a method for that? Do I have to write the method for printing out the dog breed? Oh, never mind. I just go, well, what is it supposed to look like when I print it? Oh, it just looks like that. Do I have to write? No, I see. I print This might not output correctly because it's not going to look like up above, but you should be able to fix that. So that just prints it out. I left out the middle stuff. I left out creating the pet dog thing. So you can do that. But what I wanted to show you with this debug is this debug is really cool. So I'm going to click on debugger here. So now the first thing I have to do is I have to set a breakpoint. That'll stop it. I'll click on this. I'll click run, and it'll run until it hits a breakpoint. And so I'm going to hit the breakpoint. I'm going to make the breakpoint be right here. And then after that, I'm going to step through it. So it's going to execute the first 4 of these statements all in a row, and then it's going to stop. And then I'll click, I'll click the step function, and we'll see it execute through. And then we'll see the variables appear over here on the side, which is really valuable if you can't figure out what's going on in the program. So I'm going to click run. And it asks me to enter the pet name, and I'm going to say, I have a pet called Pepper. I got to click over here. Pepper. And the pet age is he's 14. And I have a dog called, I don't have a dog. I used to have a dog. Maka. I know of a dog named Maka. Actually, Maka. And he was like 17 when he. Okay, now we've hit the breakpoint. And so let's look at the variables over here. We should have a variable for pet name, and do we? There it is, and it's Pepper. And then we should have a variable for pet age, and there it is. It's 14. Dog name is Maka. Dog age is 17. And you notice these are integers, not strings, because we put the int function around them. And then now it's sitting at line 49. Now it's sitting at line 49. That's right. It's just about to execute line 49. Right here. Where's the breakpoint? So anyway, did I remove it? Okay, so now I'm going to click next step, and it's going to ask me. This thing prints out, and I think it's waiting for the input. So I'm going to click dog breed, and I think Maka was a German Shepherd. Oh, he's still German. It's probably spelled wrong. Oh, still German Shepherd, and then now we've got the dog breed, German Shepherd, and now we're sitting at line 52, and we're about to execute line 52. And so let's execute and see what it does. Okay, boom. There should be something pet name. Oh, in my pet, or see anything more than that? I'm gonna put this down. In my pet, we have an age. Oh, we don't have an age yet because we haven't executed 53 yet. But we do have we have executed 52, and so that's why the my pet name is set, but my pet age is not set. So let's execute the next one. And now my pet age is set. And then now we're going to print my info. And so we're up here in this method because it called, it called my, there's the quick one. Here it called my info. So now we're sitting up here on line 32, and that's, we're about to execute line 33, and so that's why there's a 33 there. And by the way, we're still executing line 54. See, that's this. We called that. So now we can execute this, and now we saw pet information print out here, and now we're going to see the next line print out. Name Pepper. Age 14, that just printed out, and now we should be back to line 54 because this is done, and now we're done because this thing is finished executing. And now it goes down and it sets my dog, my breed anyway. And then you can finish it up by clicking next breakpoint. There aren't any more breakpoints. So that finishes it up, and you can see that it printed out it printed out the breed because I added that down here. Now I think you're gonna have to add spaces in there because it should line up with that. My all right. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. So you can go now. So this is here, and if we bring up our other browser again, did I close Opera? I don't have a browser. Edge. Everybody's got Edge. So I can go to replit.com / ITS148, enter, and I can click on this one because that's what we just did, and you can run it. And it asks it, you're running it here, and you can say a pepper or whatever your dog's name. Or I had another cat named Pudding. That's my name. And that cat didn't live that long. 10. And dog, I think when I was a little kid, I had a dog. I don't know. And see, it ran, and that's what it looks like when it runs. And again, you can click show files, and you can go over here, and you can see what I entered in. Okay, so that's very useful. All right, let's do another one. So let's go to the next one. Lab instrument information, derived classes. Okay, so we have a base class called instrument, and we're going to define a derived class called string instrument. No, it's not a lab instrument, it's a musical instrument. So if the input is, so this looks like drums, is that a manufacturer and the year that it was built? Are drums built? Guitar, Gibson guitar, built, designed. Maybe that was the first year that it was released. But they make them all in 2000. Oh no, maybe it's used. Oh, these are used ones, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so we're supposed to. So we have a class called this. This is what the class. This class called instrument. And we're gonna make one for string instrument. And the string instrument adds number of strings and number of frets. You can make ukulele, manufacturer Kamaka. All right. So so I'm going to do a replit again. It's 106. Class goes to 130. I'm going to do another replit. I'm going to grab this, copy it, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to go here. Yeah, I don't see where I can create a new one from here. I want to make sure I create a new one from here. So I want to go back to here, go back to here, go back to here, and go back to create a team replit. It's going to be Python 1, and I'm going to name it that, and I'm going to create it. And now we should see it. it over here. Ah, here it is, 14.8. All right. So now I'm going to paste all this in here as a comment, so I know what the heck's going on. Copy, okay, that works. Colon, 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 enter, paste. Okay, there's my comment. And then I'm going to copy this starter code that they give us. Nice to give a starter code. Copy this and go over here. And I'm going to paste. You know why that's a squiggly there? I'm going to throw in a pass. That do it. That takes away. I'm gonna take that pass. Sorry, I just didn't want to see this. Okay, so here's my thing. So we're going to ask for instrument name, manufacturer, year built, cost. We're going to ask for all these things. And so I'm just going to have to make it easier for myself, and I'm going to make it easier for myself like this, and I'm going to go. And I'm going to go. Oops. And the only reason I'm doing this is so stupid not to. You know what I should do is I should actually set the values. I should set the values. I'll do that next time. Instead of having all these dang inputs, I'm just going to put values in there and then run the code based on those set values, and then I'll leave it up to you to figure out how to get from there to the correct answer that the book is looking for. Okay, so now I know what I'm asking for, and I'm going to create a new instance of an instrument with the name and the manufacturer and the year built and the cost. And then I'm going to create a new instance of a string instrument. And for that, I have to ask for all the attributes of a string instrument, which includes the attributes for my instrument. So we have instrument name, manufacturer name, and year built and cost. And then we have the additional attributes of the number of strings and the number of frets. And then this prints out both of the two. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to define the derived class. All right. So the first thing I got to do is, I don't remember any of this stuff. Let's go back. What does a derived class look like? It looks like this. Copy. I'm gonna break this off, put it over here, click on this, make this smaller, put this over here, and I'm gonna type. I can get rid of this. I'm gonna type def underscore underscore init underscore underscore self colon enter, and then I got to this is based on instrument, so I have to init the instrument one. So I'm going to go instrument dot the constructor and self. So this creates everything that an instrument has, and then oops, why does it do that? Enter. Okay. And then I can add the new attributes, and there's two new attributes: self dot strings and self dot fret, right? Strings. Self dot strings equals nothing, I guess. We're going to initialize it equaling nothing. Of course, we could initializing it equaling 6 or 4. Most, all the symphony string instruments have 4 strings. Anyway, so there's that, and then you have to also do the frets one. So I'm going to leave the frets one for you to do, and then what else do we have to do? Hold on. We're done. Is print. Oh. Oh. Wait a second, I'm not doing this right, am I? This has all these attributes there. So when you create an instance of one, oh look, when you create an instance of my instrument, you're able to pass in all those things. You don't have to set them separately. Same with the string instrument. So these all have to be passed in. How do we do that? This does it this way. So we have to at least have this. We have to at least have this. No, oops, 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 oops. No, this. And we also need, strings and frets. And so self of strings must be strings. So you can call this strings or num strings or something, but this is equal to that. You notice how this replit thing, you double click that and it shades this. It's because that's what it's the same as. It's not the same as this. That's a coincidence. Is that the same? That is the same. So if this confuses you, which it's the same way. This is similar to lots of languages. All this creating classes and charactering stuff. It's the same notation in all the languages I'm pretty much familiar with. Okay, so this does strings, and you're gonna have to do frets. But I think this is all it is. And so down here, this isn't going to work because it doesn't have frets in it. I'll put frets in it. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there, but I'm not going to finish the method. You can finish the method. So this might run. Let's see. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say this. So all right. Oh, look, this is what it says there. All right, I'm going to run this thing, and do they give me some test data? Oh yeah, drums. Zil, 2015, 2500, guitar, Gibson, 2002, 1200, 6, 9, and where there's an error. And let's trace back the error. It's very important that we learn how to read these error messages. Okay, so it starts in line 50 right there in main.py. This whole thing's main.py. What's line 50? It starts right here. It doesn't like that. Why? Because I didn't put all that stuff. I got to pass all that stuff down to that. See, when I create a new instance of an instrument, it's expecting these four things, and I'm not giving it to it. So it says that missing 4 required positional arguments: missing name, manufacturer, year built, and cost. And those are missing on line 50. And so you trace back, and on line 70, which is that's what started this whole thing. This thing was called, this thing was called to create a new. We're trying to create a new string instrument, and this is called. So this is called up here, and this is executed, and that didn't pass. And that wasn't passed through. So I'm going to quickly try to fix this, and I think we got to pass all this stuff right on through up to here. Copy, paste. Okay, now I'm going to run it. Jeez, I hate this. Okay, I'm just going to. Where is this? Instrument name, drums. Drums. Drums, the instrument drum manufacturers of my day. I don't. 2015, 2500. Ludwig. Ringo Starr used to have Ludwig drums. Guitar, ukulele, manufactured Kamaka, year built 2010. Oops, that's a bad year. Should have an error message. Cost, I don't know how much. A number of strings, 4, and I don't know how much price. And now we have an error, line 75. Num strings. I misnamed something. I misnamed something, didn't I? Because here I'm trying to print num fret and num strings, but I didn't name it that. I named them strings. I should have named them num strings. I named the two extra attributes strings and frets, and it should have been named num strings and num frets because of this down here. So we can just simply fix that. And this would be num frets. And I'm going to go blah, blah, blah. Oops. Not gonna, it's got to be a number, I guess. Blah, blah, 2,000, $300, ukus, kamaka, whatever, $2,500. Oops. Why is it asking me string cost twice? Oh, because I did that. Number of strings. Oh, well, that should be number of strings. 4. And I don't know. Okay, so now what happens? Oh, look, it all printed out nicely. Okay, so there's no more errors. The only problem is this number is wrong. You're not going to display out any of these input strings, and you got to finish it up because that's not set. All right. I just noticed the chat. Oh, okay, not a problem. All right. Okay, so 5 minutes left. What time is it? I got another class at 2 next at 1:30. I have another class. Okay, so I can do one more real quick here. So let's go to the next one. Did this. All right, real quick. Except for I'm not going to do all these dang inputs. I'm just going to set them. You can take care of the rest. So let's go back to REPLs. Did I delete the REPL thing? Oh no, I didn't. Put it over here. So I'm going to go here. Teams 148. I'll create a team REPL. Python one, called that. And I'm going to go back over here and copy this. Copy. Okay. And then I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to copy this. And so my code's going to go down here. And I have to make a course. And I have to offer. And I have to make an offered course, which has additionally some extra stuff. Instructor name, term, and class time. And this prints it. It's kind of complicated. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some I'm going to set the input. Just because course, you don't want to do this. You want to actually leave it. And this is going to create a new so the first thing you're going to have to do is I'll do course. I'll do the beginning one here for you. And so starting right here is a good place to start. I'm just going to go like this. It's okay if it's indented like this. We need to do def underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and it's always got to have a self there. The self just got to be consistent, and it's going to have a number and a title, and we're going to have to set self number, and so that's going to be what the attribute name is. It's number, and that's going to equal to the number coming in, and self of title, and that's what the attribute name is going to be called, and it's going to equal to the title value coming in. And so that should create the course, and then we're going to also want a to-do, another method. Another method called def define another method called print info, and it doesn't have to have any parameters, so we just do a self there, and that's going to print the course information. And you're going to want to then print course number, and that's going to be self number. And you also going to want to print course title. Okay, and that's kind of all we got to do for that. I'm going to say pass right now. I'm going to say pass. So there's no errors. And I'm going to comment this out because I want to see the first part run. So I'm just going to put a comment here, make this a comment, and I'm going to make this a comment. And I'm going to make all these. I'm going to make all these a comment too. You can fix it because I got to go to my other class. It's already started. So when we run this, let's see what it looks like. It printed out the first part, and it didn't print out the second part because I didn't finish this method. All right. Anyway, so so I hope that helps, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.